Do you see central banks then as part of the solution or part of the problem? The reason why I ask this is you may have seen a monograph I wrote a number of years ago where I described central banking as the barbarous relic because of their interventions in the marketplace and things of that nature.
Yeah, that's basically they're part of the problem. But one has to say also that they were introduced in Europe, but also in the United States, also to stabilize, so to say, the banking system, and the banking system which is run on wrong, let's say, premises. So in a sense, I'm against central banks, but I would argue that only if commercial banks are run on proper, especially legal, on a legal foundation, then there's no real need for a central bank, at least not in the modern sense. So in the end, they are part of the problem. They are the final stone in this entire financial architecture, which could not survive without a central bank.
Do you look at fractional reserve banking in your book?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean by problems within the banking system?
Yeah.
The inherent nature of the insolvency of fractional reserve banking?
Yeah, basically I'm using an approach which Jesus Huerta de Soto is also propounding in his Money Banking in the Business Cycle. And I have a very good friend of mine who works just next door. He's a professor for Roman law. So basically I'm debating with him all these issues all the time. And I think this is the main, so the economic problem is the second step. The first one is to have a clear concept of legal titles. And then we can continue the economic analysis, or let's say the reform of the economic constitution.
Yeah,
institutions, sorry.
Have you looked at titles in private property and Roman law as opposed to Anglo-Saxon common law? And do you have a view on one or the other?
Actually, I've just looked on the Roman law approach to it. And there you have the institution of which would be a forerunner to the fractional reserve banking, that's called the depositum irregulare. So we have a 200,000-year tradition on that specific legal title. But again, one has also to ask the question, why are banks so eager to give so many credits? And I think this is also a common feature nowadays, that economic behavior becomes more or less the most important part of life. Let's say, so instead of you having a internal or inner regulation on economic behavior, saying this is a means to an end. Okay, we earn money just to spend it, to have a nice evening with the family, to go on holidays or whatever. It takes more and more attention all the time. And I think there's also a problem on that part here.
But if it's taking more attention, that's probably an indication that the money is sick, right? What I like to use as an example is that, as I understand it, during the height of the German hyperinflation in the Weimar Republic, that in Berlin, 22% of the effort, workforce and whatnot, was trying to counteract the effects of the hyperinflation. You know, they're either printing money, counting money, moving money around, spending money in order to offset the sick money that was circulating as currency. Whereas, you know, to have almost 1/4 of the population dealing with the sick money just doesn't make economic sense. It should probably be something less than 1% of the effort is involved with the monetary side. Is that the point that you're basically getting at?
Yeah, I just want to draw the attention that both, one has to look on both sides. So institutions influence our everyday behavior, but also the other way around. And I think that a too one-sided approach very quickly lacks in the end a very fundamental insight. So also how you can implement a reform. Again, on the technical side, it's very easy. Of course, you can debate all day long as an academic whether you should have a 100% backing of demand deposits or whether you have the free banking solution. But in the end, also the population has to accept any reform. And even though there are many people who earn a lot of money with the current financial systems, and there are these crooks, if the population would not accept the current monetary system and also the current way how politics is done, just by financing a debt through inflating the money supply, then of course a change would be here immediately, and not because of a crackdown of the system, but people realize that this system is wrong on very different levels.